And welcome. This is the Garden State Film Festival, and from March 21 to 24, the Garden State Film Festival transforms Asbury Park and Cranford into a cinematic paradise, showcasing over 200 films from 14 countries in 8 venues. The festival is a celebration of diversity, creativity, and the art of storytelling, with a variety of films engaging panels, live podcasts, and not to be missed parties. Today, I'm super excited to be here with our film, The Nanny, with Brian Reynolds and Gigi Moore. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Super excited to come to the Garden State Film Festival. It's been on our calendar since the beginning, and it's the last film festival that we're showing the Nanny at.
It
And
is.
yeah, you've been you we very specifically sort of wanted our film festival cycle to end with Garden State Film Festival. So to be selected and was a dream come true, and to be honored to be part of the program. It really was, something we dreamed about, and we, worked to make happen. And we really appreciate you folks accepting us. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, and I love the film. I don't want to give away too much for the audience because you have to see it. It is amazing. Like, so what was the inspiration behind it, and how did everything go? And Gigi, you were involved in post production, I hear, so I would love to talk about that. I'm an editor, so I'm always looking for things.
Yeah, so the inspiration was I've been lucky enough to have a lot of clients there where I've got to travel the world with them. I've gotten to experience, parts of the globe that I wouldn't necessarily otherwise have access to. And at the same time, I was always part of the entourage, or I was always part of, being the support system for the person that I was traveling with. And it's a very strange uh, experience. It's very different energy to be in really unbelievable places. I mean, I've gotten to, pet wild elephants and see giraffes in the wild and things like that. And at the same time, I'm an employee and I have a job, and it's not really my space. It's not really my hotel room. It's not really my cabana or whatever. It's somebody else has provided it for me. And so I really started thinking about how different an experience this is than a lot of jobs. And I wanted to, being a writer, I wanted to sort of, take this energy or this feeling to my job and translate it into a script. And I love thrillers. I'm obsessed with thrillers. I've seen every thriller I can lay my hands on. So I was naturally drawn to the idea of making it a thriller. And then, just sort of basics of thrillers. I wanted to make the stakes as high as possible as I could. So I tried to find a job that someone couldn't just walk away from. Someone couldn't just say, well, this is scary, or this is unsettling or creepy or whatever. I'm just going to leave this job. I'm going to quit. I'm going to get out of here. So, and also I wanted the job to be really high stakes. I wanted to be important. And, what could be more important than taking care of a helpless human who's
Wow.
just come into this world? So that set the stage for this young girl. She's come to the U.S. She's come to this wealthy, couple's summer home, and she's got to take care of their infant in a situation that becomes increasingly more unsettling and eventually dangerous.
I
So,
have
yeah.
goosebumps just thinking about it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
It's like you're going to be talking out loud, but you're in the theater, so you can't. But you're like, no, go here, go there. What is this? And then you're trying to figure out everything. Really suspenseful and amazing. But let's talk about Brian. You directed this film and you wrote it.
Correct. Yeah, I wrote it and I directed it, and I'm very fortunate that I have this amazing team that allows me to create. To, I mean, we all create it, but like to create my work. My producer Morgan McDouglas, who's been my champion since the day we met, has produced so many things of mine, including plays, short films. This is our first feature together, and she is incredible to pull together the resources and the crew and the talent in the middle of COVID, and to have everything staged. We had the location, and we also had a house where the talent and some of the crew lived. So to coordinate all that and transpo and all other stuff, and we're a very small team, so it was basically all on her, especially in pre-production and production. We did have another producer, Kimberly Connolly, who's amazing, who also did a lot of work. So it was this two-person team that did all of the, I mean, really complicated, heavy lifting stuff, so that I could play with the DP and talk to the actors and create the film that I had envisioned with their support. And I'm so lucky to have such powerful people who believe in my work and want to see it come to life, and so I couldn't be more proud of what we've created as a team.
It's amazing. And with a strong narrative and well-developed characters, like you're watching it and then it just keeps going on and your mind is like, wait a minute, but that, and then this, and then that one, and this one. Like, what's it like being in your mind for you to write that?
It's interesting. The Nanny, I have two different modes of writing. I have probably about 20 to 30% of my scripts I do a lot of plotting. I just finished a script that involved a lot of outlining. I had a lot of graph paper taped up to my hallway walls and making sure everything was in line. The Nanny was the other type. The Nanny was the type where it was in my head for a minute, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to write it. And I wrote it in 3 days.
What?
Yeah. I sat down, I wrote it in 3 days, and I just came pouring out of me. And then did a pass. Samantha McDouglas, who is a part of the two-man company, is an amazing writer and editor in her own right. She took a look at it, pointed out some plot holes, pointed out some problems, did a rewrite. Then we did a table read, and just through the process of reading it and table reading it and things like that, for me, especially with thrillers, I want to make sure all the dots connect. Mm-hmm. And I especially want, if you watch it twice, and first of all, if you watch it once, thank you so much. And if you watch it twice, wow, what a gift to any creator for someone to go back and watch your work a second time. But if people watch it a second time as a thriller, I want them to not be able to spot any flaws. I want everything to make sense, even the second time, even if you know everything that's going on from the beginning. I want it to all make sense. And then we went ahead and did about 40 hours of rehearsal with the actors.
Wow.
Before we ever got to set. And in that time period, we would talk to the actors about what was happening in each scene, what all the different elements that were in play for each scene, each moment, so that when we arrived on set, everyone was on the same page. Everyone knew what was going on in the moment. And then our script supervisor, Jamie Hughes, kept us on track in terms of this needs to be here, or this is the costume, or this is all that stuff. She made sure that everything that was in my head came out correctly on screen. The Nanny just came out of me, and once I was done, I kind of, it was a little bit of a disassociative moment of, I looked back and I reread it and I went, oh, this is really fun. I really I want to see this movie. And luckily now I get to sit in the theater and watch it. And there's nothing quite like sitting in the theater with an audience and a moment's coming. And then the moment happens and they have a reaction, and I'm like, oh yes, they reacted to that, or they had a moment where they had an emotional experience with it, which makes me really happy.
Right, when you're like, don't go in there, no.
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Stuff. And then the language too. But Gigi, tell us about your experience with the whole film production and how you thought it went.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, what a privilege to get to be a part of Brian's process. I got to see the film before there was any color correction or any ADR, any of the post-production elements that I was able to be a part of. And I fell in love with the story. It really gripped me. And I think that the narrative pulls all the way throughout. And to Brian's point, when I watch it the second, the third, the fourth time, all of the pieces fall together so perfectly. And I just get to appreciate something new every time that I see it. But then as far as post-production, I think my favorite part of the entire process was probably the music. I mean, the score is absolutely wonderful. Jeff Tinsley did an amazing job. And so getting to be a part of the process of Brian working with him and an orchestra in Budapest and getting to see how all of the musical elements really add to the tension and to those moments where, you know, things are coming around the bend and the music is telling you exactly what's going on in the moment, was just a wonderful part of the process.
That's amazing. And guess what? The Garden State Film Festival has a movie music competition so that the scores stand out on their own. The film doesn't have to be submitted. You can just submit the tracks. But yeah, the music and everything. So you just mentioned Budapest. Let's go back to like the language in this film and what made you pick Finland and all of that. And then also, what can we mention that we won't give stuff away? Because in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't want to say that because of this. Or I love the police officer in the beginning and then full circle. Like, but I don't, what can we say to not?
Yeah, what I'd like to say to anyone who's thinking about coming and seeing my film is I have a deep respect for thrillers. I have a deep respect for audiences. And from the beginning of the film, like the first scene with the nanny and the sheriff, I really tried to set the tone, and I really tried to make a promise to my audience of what the journey was going to be like. And the feedback we've received is we have honored our promise. We've kept our promise. If you sit down, if you like thrillers, or if you're just interested in thrillers, I believe we deliver a great experience. And if you're like me, I like to go into thrillers knowing as little as possible. So this is always the balance, right? When you try to promote your film, or you try to, figure out how you're going to advertise your film, or what the poster is going to be, or what the trailer is going to be, is like, how can I show the audience, or how can I give the audience a taste of what they're going to get from the film, so that they know whether or not they want to come see it, without it's a thriller, without giving too much away. I will say that the sheriff, Hayes, I always call him Hayes because I can't pronounce his last name, and I feel bad about that. But Hayes was amazing. He was actually the only person who auditioned. Everyone else in the film I had worked with before. Georgia Gould, who plays the nanny, and Angela Sauer plays Robin, had been in a play of mine. My friend Phil Abrams plays the lawyer, and he's been in a million things. And he did, he came into our film as a favor to me, and I couldn't be happier with his performance. And then Adam Kitchen was in a short film of mine that won a bunch of awards, and he's amazing. So we are going to take you on a ride. We're going to do our best to fool you without lying to you. So that's our goal. And I've actually had people figure out the film very, very early. Like, they watch it and they're like, oh yeah, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, like I had one person tell me that they figured it out in the opening scene, and I was like, okay, did you still enjoy it? They're like, yeah, I loved it. I'm like, that's all you can ask for. Like, some people you're gonna keep them guessing to the end. Some people are gonna be ahead of you. That's just the nature of telling a story. And I feel very honored that people, regardless of their experience on the twists and turns, have said, I love the ride. So I hope people will come enjoy the ride with us. And I want to circle back to Jeff, because you mentioned the film music competition that the Garden State Film Festival has, which I can't. That's so amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. That is such an amazing opportunity for composers. And Jeff actually won an award in the Garden State Film Festival for one of the pieces from the Nanny, and I couldn't be happier for him. He's an amazing human being and an amazing artist as well. So
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, such a great film. Is there any last things that we want to leak a little bit or tell people? But the film is going to play at the Jersey Shore Arts Center, which is a beautiful historic theater, Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. The block code is JS25 for Jersey Shore Arts Center 25, and it starts at 6:15. So you come and you sit down. There's a host for the film block. You watch all the films in the whole block. Then at the end, there's a Q&A. And then we have filmmaker lounges if you want to continue the conversation beyond the film block. But it's just so great. And the color, I love watching everything technical and with the post-production and watching the edits and seeing if it's going to be cut on the move and if there's any errors. And I love all that stuff. So Gigi, watching it from before it was even touched, going through the whole process, isn't it amazing when you're like what it was versus what it comes out to be as transformative?
Yeah, it's a wild getting to see the process from start to finish and seeing what a spectacle it turns out with.
Yeah, I think the first time Gigi even saw it, it was on my laptop, and it was the scratch audio from the cameras. So like it was literally just like it was. I think we were 2 days or 3 days away from picture lock, and so for and to have Gigi come on board and like she kept so many elements on track because we had so many moving parts, everything from the music to the color correction to the VFX. We don't have a lot, but we have enough. We had an ADR session just to clean up some things that the sound didn't quite. By the way, shout out to our sound person, Rebecca. I mean, like, first of all, she wrote in at the last minute. We'd had someone who had to drop at the last minute, and she came in at the last minute and gave us the cleanest, most beautiful sound on every single take. She's crawling under tables and on top of trees and hanging off of trellises to get good sound with her boom. And I just like, I mean, good sound is so critical for movies. Like I can mess up a camera angle and people don't necessarily ding me on it for the film, but like you mess up the sound and it's like it just takes people out. So Rebecca was an absolute goddess of sound, and we couldn't have been, more lucky to have her on set and getting what she got. Yeah, but so Jillian didn't hear any of that sound the first time through. She heard just off the camera tracks. And then Jillian took it all and coordinated with all the different departments and all the we're a small company, so everything was out of house. So she was coordinating with, I don't know, 9-10 different companies all simultaneously to bring it all together, and just did an amazing job with that. So we're lucky to have her as part of our team for sure.
That's awesome. So do you take a lot of notes? I'm always like handwriting things, taking the script and just like, oh, this and that. And what's your process like, Gigi?
I like to use a blend of handwritten and also digital notes. And I've actually learned a lot from Brian in terms of actually going in and editing on PDFs. He's got a great iPad system, which is really easy to do because it's portable. So for me, always having something to use there. But yeah, I think also just doing things that are really fun and that you're passionate about, like getting to work with Brian and the team and see exactly what is going to happen with the finished product and knowing what we're working towards. I think that is the best thing to keep anything on track. Just doing what's fun and what you're passionate about, and where you can really see the art all coming together.
It's so beautiful.
And if I may, I'd like to give one. I'd like to just talk to a potential audience really quick. I think that this is a movie that it's not necessarily like a big budget like spaceship shooting things in terms of seeing on a big screen. Here's a reason I think it should be on a big screen is your dog agrees with me. This shout out to your pup. I think it's a community film. I think that being in the theater and getting to experience it with other human beings really adds to it. And both Jillian and I will be there. And we love meeting people. We love talking to people. So Jillian and I will be there for the entire festival. We're getting in Thursday during the day. We're not leaving till Monday morning.
Yes.
So we'll be available. Please come up and if you're a creator, I want to hear about your work. If you can stop by and see our film, would love to hear your thoughts. Good, bad, indifferent. I always want to hear what people's experiences are with our film. But I really do feel like with our film, there's something about sitting in a theater and going through that journey with a group of people. So we hope to see you there.
I'm so excited you're going to be there the whole time. So Thursday is Meet the Filmmaker event at the Asbury Lanes. It's 7 to 9:30. We have a cocktail hour and then about an hour's worth of selected trailers so everyone can get ready and prepared for the other film blocks that you want to see. Friday night is our big star-studded gala cocktail reception. So the filmmakers, you have a secret time. You enter the door, so we'll tell you that as we get closer. But public comes in at 7 o'clock, and then starting at 8:30, we have the amazing feature, The Martini Shot, starring Matthew Modine and a whole bunch of others. So you should check everything out. And it's his birthday.
What?
Matthew Modine's birthday, yeah. So we'll have a little surprise. I mean,
I've been watching Matthew
anymore.
Modine. It feels like my whole life. He is such a great actor. Yeah, he's
so
amazing.
Nice. Oh my gosh, amazing. And then there's an after party for those that can hack it and stay up late, unless you need your TV sleep. And then Saturday morning, there's a filmmaker breakfast at 8:30. Then we roll right into a panel discussion. It's open to the public. You can buy tickets. The panel is 9:30 to 11. You're not going to want to miss it. And then a fun part on Saturday, we stop everything to have a happy hour from 5 to 6 o'clock at the Berkeley Oceanfront Hotel in the Johnny and June room. Why is it called that? Because Johnny Cash used to own the Berkeley Oceanfront Hotel. So you'll see a whole bunch. There's really cool wallpaper with Johnny and June all over it. So it's super fun. What else? And then we have a screenplay competition as well on Sunday, March 24th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 is the screenplay feature winner. And we have a live table read of that. So that's just a little bit of what's going on. So I'm super stoked that you're going to be there. And we do live podcasts on set during the festival. So it'll be super exciting.
That's so awesome.
We're excited. So go to GSFF.org. That's G for Garden State Film Festival.org. And thank you to all of our sponsors, our board, our crew, and to our wonderful filmmakers. We can't do what we do without you. So thank you so much. And thanks for being here with us. We're super, I think it's like 34 days. I don't know what the countdown is, but we will see you soon. And check us out at our next interview coming up soon, everybody. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.